easy prospecting plan. So we know that there's really 4 ways and probably multiple others to communicate with people. We want to really consider the handwritten note. Postcards are great. Handwritten notes have magical properties. They really show people that you care enough to send us a personal note. So please incorporate maybe at least 10 personal notes a week in your business plan. The other thing that we know is effective, and I call it the Never Eat Lunch Alone program, to really interact with friends and family and business associates by sharing a meal. And then, of course, we as realtors really wouldn't survive without the use of the cell phone. So we know that you're going to be reaching out, responding to people via phone call. And then really so much is being done today with social media. But it's not just social media, hey, here I am. It's really connecting with others through social media. So use your messenger platforms, use your instant messaging that can go back and forth. And of course, included with our cell phone and kind of goes into social media is texting. And texting is really becoming a very important way of communication. So we have these 4 ways of communicating. And one of the most simple, easy prospecting plans I know is something I call ACLAC. And so you're just going to take a desktop calendar or even just a blank piece of paper each day. You can do it with a sticky note if you'd like. And then just write the letters ACLAC down one side of it. Every time you attempt to call someone, you're just going to make a mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how many attempts did you make in that day? And that's why a desktop calendar works really well. Then how many contacts, how many of those attempts actually ended up in a conversation? Did any of those conversations bring forth a lead? It's not always the person you called. Perhaps you called your mother and you were talking to her and she said, oh, you know what? The other day I was talking to my friend at the post office and I think she's going to be selling her house. So Mom, did you get their information? So we've had this conversation and now it has produced a lead. So did we secure an appointment from that lead? An appointment does not always equal a listing or a sale, but it's a deeper conversation. And so we've actually met with them to talk about the prospect of buying or selling or investing in real estate. And lastly, contracts. So contracts written. By the end of the year, you'll be able to develop ratios between the number of attempts it took you to produce a contract. And once you have that ratio, it can be super powerful in fueling your business in future years. So I urge you to keep track of this. And it also is a little bit of an accountability tool because oftentimes we'll think, oh my goodness, I was at work so many hours today. But when we reflect on it, we probably only made 4 attempts to call new business. We were busy taking care of things or maybe even chit-chatting with other realtors. So we really like this as an accountability tool as well. Here's what the easy prospecting plan looks like. This is what you'll find on the website to download. And I've done it really for the newer agent. I really want you to have amazing closings and really provide an amazing customer experience for your buyers and sellers when they have a closing. All the people waiting to hear from us. And I have to say, in my experience, this is something that agents became very guilty of, and their reputation depends on it. When you're in that line at the grocery store and someone says to you, how's the market? And you say, oh, unbelievable. And they say, you know, my brother was thinking of renting. Could you get me some rental properties in our area? Well, you're not super excited about helping someone with a rental. And maybe you wrote that on the back of your grocery store receipt and you just didn't call that person back. Well, the sad part is even if you weren't going to show rental properties, even if you didn't want to work with their brother, it would be really helpful if you at least gave them the information or told them up front, you know, I really don't work with rentals, but maybe I can get someone who will, and then get them that number. So I really think this is one of the areas that we can improve as realtors, as a community, to really service all the people we promised we were going to talk to. So let's start with those people. communication. If you consider someone a prospect, they should be hearing from you at least once a week. And then we move into sellers, same thing as our buyers. They should hear from us at least once a week. You don't want your seller to be the person around the water cooler at work saying, yeah, my agent listed my house and I haven't heard from them. That's not the reputation we want. And then contact 5 members of your community or of your sphere of influence regarding a monthly real estate topic. So I always like to, on the 15th of each month, look at some statistics, look at what's going on in our market, and really develop some news, or a newsletter even if you want to put more effort into it, and have that conversation with the people in your sphere of influence. And I don't think it's unreasonable to ask you to speak to 5 people a day. And then don't forget to ask for business and ask for referrals. You know, obviously, if you're going to call people and say, do you want to list, sell, or invest every time you talk to them, that's going to be like an annoying parrot. But you want to have interesting conversation, and then just tickle them a little bit about, do you know anyone? Have you come across anyone? Because likely you could come across as many as 6 people a year that have a real estate need, and I love for you to think of me. So now what do we do with this? I mean, it's a little old-fashioned, and yet I don't have any objection if you just print this out and keep a notebook with each day's. So the power of the plan is that it works for you, whichever you decide.